Hello students, we were discussing in the last class about modulation, frequency translation, the process of frequency translation whereby we will be taking the low frequency baseband signal, that is your message signal, to a high frequency signal according to the carrier frequency, and that will be transmitted. And we have compared the energy inside a photon of a low frequency as well as for the high frequency translated signals also. So today this will be on the amplitude modulation, the modulation technique called amplitude modulation, as well as its analysis, mathematical analysis. So let's start with the analysis of amplitude modulation. Welcome. Okay, let us just consider this box around here. This is an amplitude modulation generator. It takes in two things. One is our carrier frequency, the other one is a message signal, our message signal. So this is the equation for our carrier frequency, carrier signal, and this one is the equation for message signal. You can see there is omega m here in the message signal and omega c in the carrier signal. And SM0 is the amplitude of the message signal and AC0 is the amplitude of the carrier signal. Let's see what is happening in the case of an amplitude modulation. And when we see this picture, this sine wave represents our message signal. Okay. So why I am using sine wave is that sine wave is the smallest, simplest wave which we can use for testing purposes. So that is why we are using a sine wave. In actual cases, it won't be a sine wave. It can be a randomly varying wave. When I am talking, I am not generating sine wave. I am generating a mixture of different types of sine waves. Okay, and let us take a single sine wave and analyze, and then apply it generally to other sine waves also. Okay, so that is why I am taking just a sine wave, and this sine wave will be used to modulate a carrier frequency which is having a higher frequency. You can see here the carrier is having a higher frequency. So this carrier frequency is having a wavelength much smaller than the wavelength of the message signal, and it obviously says that the frequency is much higher for the carrier signal. Okay, when you modulate using amplitude modulation schema, what happens is the amplitude of the carrier is varied in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal. So when you modulate this carrier signal, you get something like this. So the red line represents the output of your AM modulator, this box, output of this box. So the red line, the graph, the sine wave drawn using the red line represents your output, and the amplitudes, you can connect the amplitude, the peak amplitudes of each instance like this, and this forms the blue line. There is no actual blue line in your output, but it represents the variation of your message signal inside the amplitude of your carrier signal, modulated carrier signal. So this blue line doesn't happen actually though, it is not there actually. Actually it is a conceptual representation of the envelope of your modulated carrier wave. So this one is your modulated carrier wave, your actual wave that is being generated out of this box, and this carrier wave has a varying amplitude. Its peak amplitude is varying. Okay, the peak amplitude at each instant is varying. Okay, here it is smaller, it is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It reaches a smallest value, then it increases, just like in the fashion of your message signal, it is changing. Okay, so you can have a point where you have the maximum amplitude, which is Vmax, and a point where there is a minimum amplitude, that is your Vmin. Okay, and you can define a number called modulation index, which is a ratio of your SM0, that is the amplitude, peak amplitude of your message signal, and to the peak amplitude of your carrier signal. So that ratio is called modulation index, represented by small m. And in the case of amplitude modulation, we can have an equation like this also, that is Vmax minus Vmin divided by Vmax plus Vmin. So Vmax minus Vmin, Vmax is the difference is the distance between the vertical distance between these 2 points. Okay, that is the maximum amplitude of the wave, and Vmin is the minimum amplitude of this wave, the modulated wave. Okay, so you can take the difference and divide it with the sum of the Vmax and Vmin. That also will give you modulation index. And why we need this modulation index is that we can analyze what is happening when the modulation index changes. Okay, so when you choose, you have to choose a particular value for modulation index. Let it be modulation index equal to 1 or modulation index less than 1, etc. And there are 4 conditions for modulation index. The first condition is m is equal to 0, and that represents the case when this numerator is equal to 0. That is Sm0 is equal to 0. That means there is no modulating signal. Sm0 equal to 0 means that your modulating signal or your message signal is 0. That means there is no input at this point. So the entire SC, that is your carrier signal, passes to the output, and you get a constant peak amplitude carrier signal at the output. Okay, so that case is a no modulation condition. This one represented here is a no modulation. Nothing is being modulated. Its envelope is not changing. Its envelope is parallel to the x-axis. So nothing is changing. That is called no modulation condition. And I can write that as useless. 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 We are not going to use it. The next thing is when the modulation index is between 0 and 1, which means that the numerator is less than the denominator. The numerator is less than the denominator. Numerator is not equal to 0, but it is greater than 0 and less than 1. In that condition, you call the modulation as under modulation, and under modulation will be used. This is okay. This is fine. Okay. So this is the condition that we are going to use. The modulation index for our modulating system should be coming under modulation condition. Okay. The second case that is represented here. Suppose your modulation index is 0.5, 1 by 2. Then your wave will be looking like this. Okay. And what happens when you critically modulate the wave? Critical modulation is a case when your numerator and denominator are the same. So when you divide it, you get 1. So the critical modulation condition happens to be like this. Critical modulation condition, just grazing the x-axis at this point. So actually what happens is that critical modulation is the best modulation scheme, but it is very risky. So this is very efficient plus risky. Why risky? Risky because it can go to over modulation conditions also. So it is very risky to handle a critical modulation condition. So it is better to go to under modulation condition, where you will be keeping your modulation index very close to 1, not close to 0, very close to 1, like 0.95 or 0.99 or 0.90. Those are okay, fine values for your modulation index. And why you don't use critical modulation condition? Critical modulation, although it is very efficient, it is very risky, because the modulation index 1, you cannot guarantee always in these electronic systems that your modulation index is going to be always 1. It can go beyond 1. So when your modulation index goes beyond 1, that is when your message signal peak amplitude goes above the carrier signal peak amplitude, then a condition called over modulation happens. And what happens in the case of over modulation is that you lose a lot of information. So this is the problem. Practically this is good, and ideally this is okay. This one is no use, and this one is dangerous. You can see that in the diagram, the fourth condition, you are getting some missing force signal at these regions. So that is because of overmodulation. Okay. Now let's go to analysis of AM wave. So I have brought the previous diagram where you have the message signal, your carrier signal, and the amplitude modulated signal. So when you have the amplitude modulated signal, you can see that the peak of the amplitude modulated signal is the sum of SC0 plus SM0. The trough is SC0 minus SM0. Okay. So this peak amplitude is varying between SC0 plus SM and SC0 minus SM0. So our amplitude modulated wave is having a variation like this. So this is our carrier wave, right? So this is our carrier wave. Let us consider our AM wave is equal to cos omega ct, something times cos omega ct. Why something? That is because this actually represents the peak amplitude of our wave. Okay, this represents the peak amplitude of our wave, but it is a function of our message signal. So you can see here that the peak amplitude is changing. So this is not the peak that you observed before. So these peaks are changing from each other. They are different from each other, right? This is smallest peak, this is the highest peak, like that. So it is changing. So that means our peak cannot be a constant. Usually the peak was constant. In the previous case, let's say this one, your carrier wave is having a constant peak. See, SC0 is a constant. That is why always you are having the same level for the peak of the sine wave. But in the modulated case, the peak is varying. Okay. How is it varying? It is varying in accordance with the message signal. So your peak, that is this SC0, should be a function of your message signal. So it should be a function of message signal. The rest is okay. The cos omega ct is fine, but your SC0 is a function of your message signal. So that is what I am going to show here. So this is your amplitude modulated signal, the equation for the red colored signal here inside this. This is your amplitude modulated signal where you are having SAM, that is the peak amplitude of your amplitude modulated signal, which is a function of your message signal, times cos omega ct. And what is SAM? SAM is given by SC0 plus SM. So it is a function of SC0 plus SM, and SC0 is your carrier signal, and when the message signal is modulated onto the carrier, this amplitude can increase or decrease. It can increase from SC0 or it can decrease. That is why SC0 plus. And SC0 plus what? It is SC0 plus SM. Why? Because it changes from SC0 towards upper side or towards the lower side according to the message signal. So this is your SM and this peak is SM0. So I am writing SC0 plus SM, and then I expand or I substitute what is SM. SM is SM0 cos omega mt. And I can do one thing. I can substitute the equation for modulation index. So this is the equation for modulation index, which says peak amplitude of the modulating signal divided by peak amplitude of the carrier signal. I can say that SM0 is equal to m times SC0. So I will be substituting this into SM0. So I get SC0 plus m SC0 cos omega mt, and SC0 can be taken outside, and this one is the amplitude of your AM signal. So I substitute this thing, that is 2 into the equation 1. So I get AM is equal to SC0 into 1 plus m cos omega mt times cos omega ct. So this represents your amplitude modulated signal. This is the equation for amplitude modulated signal, and we are going to remove these brackets and expand it. When you remove and expand, when you multiply all these things, SC0 and cos omega ct into the brackets, you get like this. You get two terms. one is SE0 cos omega ct. That happens to be our carrier signal. Okay, that term is representing our carrier signal. Then you get an additional term. This additional term has m SE0 as a constant and a multiplication between cos omega mt and cos omega ct. So this is actually a frequency translation happening here. So you get a frequency translation. What is frequency translation? It is the multiplication of two cosine waves of different frequencies. So we are multiplying these two frequencies, and when we multiply these two frequencies, you get a sum term for the frequency and a difference term for the frequency. So you get two frequencies. So hence we have the first term here coming here. The second term, when you expand these things, the second term is m SE0 by 2 coming here, cos omega c plus omega m into t plus m SE0 by 2 cos omega c minus omega m into t. How you got this equation? I got this equation is by applying the identity cos c times cos d is equal to that identity. So you get three terms for an amplitude modulated signal. First term represents a carrier signal because your frequency is omega c, SE0 omega c. Okay, this is a carrier signal. You get a sum term, that is omega c plus omega m, that happens to be your upper sideband, and a difference term omega c minus omega m, that happens to be your lower sideband. Thus, you get three terms in your output for AM. So after you obtain your output, it contains three terms. The first term is omega c from omega c. So that is represented here. Previously, in the case of frequency translated signals, this term was not there. Only these two terms were present. That is omega c minus omega m and omega c plus omega m. So now what is happening is that you have the sidebands. This is called upper sideband. This one is called the lower sideband. So you have the upper sideband as well as the lower sideband, and along with that you are getting another term, that is your carrier frequency omega c. So you have three terms in your amplitude modulated signal. So that is the essence of amplitude modulation mathematically. Okay, that is fine. I am stopping at this, and we will see the power relations in the next class. Thank you.